Tiger Talk is sponsored by
What's up, Guymon Tiger fans? Welcome back to Tiger Talk. I'm your host, Jake Martinez. My co-host to my left is George Dominguez, offense coordinator with the football team. Today's episode is brought to you by Black Mesa Creative. Black Mesa Creative is Panhandle's media production hub, specializing in photography, videography, and drone work. Coach Dominguez, this past Friday was a big one. We scrimmaged Texoma High School, really good football team, top 10 in their class. Could you just talk a little bit about the scrimmage, highlight some guys that stood out to you?
Yeah, scrimmage is always great because, especially whenever you get to play a really good team, because you get to see where a lot of your holes are. I definitely think we came away from that scrimmage learning a whole lot, wouldn't you say? Mm-hmm. A couple of our guys who just outperformed. I mean, we expected them to perform pretty well, but just shined above would probably be Andy Ozeda, Miguel Vargas, Isaiah Dunnigan, and even Isaac Dunnigan.
Yeah, no, all those guys that coach just listed stood out. And again, like we were talking about, me and Stanley were talking before we even got here, that was probably the best Texoma team I've seen in the past 3 years. So it's always good to get good scrimmage work. I'm big on, if I'm ever going to get my butt kicked, I want to get it kicked in a scrimmage, not on a Friday night when it counts. But again, shout out to those guys and good luck to those guys. This coming Friday, we got a big one of the biggest games of the year. Woodward at home. Coach, can you talk a little bit about that game, what it means to our guys?
Yeah, Woodward is kind of a local rivalry, I guess you could say. Our guys get really excited to play them. They get really excited to play us. Last year we had some success against them. This year we're going to try to repeat it. I know our guys are pretty fired up about it. We're pretty excited, and I don't want to say too much on film and give anything away.
Yeah, no, again, out in the Panhandle, you kind of have a lot of rivalries just because of location. Woodward football, they're a good program as well. A lot of history over there. I, in fact, actually played the Woodward Boomers when I was a sophomore in high school over at Ado High School. So those guys knocked me out of the playoffs. So I have a little taste in my mouth. We're back with the busiest man in all of Guymon, Oklahoma, athletic director, head cross-country coach, and head track coach, and now tardy supervisor, Andy Brown. Coach, how are you doing?
Doing good, Coach. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate you asking me to be here, and I think this show's really cool, so thanks for doing this. This is really neat.
Coach just had the Rattlesnake run this past Saturday. Coach, can you talk to us a little bit of how that's been going in the previous years and how this past Saturday worked?
Yeah, so 21st annual Rattlesnake runs in the books. Had 500 and around 530 total runners from 21 different schools and 4 race divisions. We ran junior high girls, junior high boys, high school girls, and high school boys. And very competitive meet, a lot of talented runners. To name a few, we actually had 2 of our top 5 all-time 5K course records that were 2 kids etched their name in the books, a kid from Perryton and Paladuro. He ran 16:39 and won the meet. And it's been several years since we've had anybody under 17 minutes for this course. Of course, if you've ever been here and seen this course, it is very hilly. you got to be a really strong runner. And, this being a lot of people's first meet of the year, it's very hard to go out and run a really fast time because a lot of kids are still getting in shape and condition. But yeah, so a kid from Perryton and Paladuro both, Paladuro ran 17:03. So those are the number 2 and 3 all-time fastest records for the course. And I think we started keeping those around 2014, 2013. So, but yeah, it was a huge meet, had a lot of support from a lot of different departments helping get the course ready. And, pulling off a meet that big, you got to have timers, you got to have registration table, you got to have finish line help, you got to have people mowing the course for you. Our maintenance department did a great job helping me mow all the different areas on the course because you got to mow, 3.1 miles worth of course to get everything ready, and had a lot of help. So we appreciated that, and everything went smooth. And our kids, I was very happy with how we ran. Our junior high boys and girls were much faster as a team than we were last year, and same with high school. Our high school boys were a little bit ahead of where we were last year with all the kids we have returning. So, and our girls as well. Some of our girls ran 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes faster this year than they did on the course last year with very similar conditions. So, super impressed with where we're at right now. And kind of looking a little bit down the road. We don't have a meet this coming weekend. We're just going to use that as a training day for us. And then you guys have Hooker next week. And then Saturday we will go to the Wolf Creek Classic at Perryton, Texas. And there will be junior high divisions, high school divisions, JV as well. That starts at 8 o'clock. So we're excited to go back to that course. That's a pretty hilly, tough course and pretty competitive. Perryton's got a really good team, boys and girls. So it'll be great to see some good competition there and our second meet of the year.
Last year, you had 2 all-state runners, Adam Seam and Tesfaye Lear. How do you kind of replace those guys? I know those are big shoes to fill, but how do you kind of motivate your younger guys to come in there and fill roles like that?
When you have 2 runners like that are so elite for not just 5A, but Oklahoma, those guys will leave a lasting impression on your program for years to come because you've got kids that saw what it takes to be at that level. And so, and they were great teammates. They showed what it took to run well and the sacrifices you have to make if you're going to be a good runner. So they made a big impression, and those kids now can see what it took and can follow in those footsteps. And we've got some kids that are starting to turn the corner a little bit and understand that if I'm going to be a better runner, there's some things that I've got to do. There's some sacrifices that I've got to make. So,
is there any chance we could get Zab Brown for this Friday? We play Woodward. We need an outside receiver. Could we borrow him for 4 quarters?
I don't know. He's got a pulled hip flexor right now, so I don't know how good he'd be off the line for you. But we're dealing with some injuries as well, so we're trying to get him healed up. He actually didn't run at the Rattlesnake Run, so last home meet senior year didn't get to run in it. But we're looking long-term picture here. We're trying to get him healthy for Perryton. So he's been doing good in workouts. Angel Aguirre's another boy that ran 17:26 last year at the state meet for us as a junior, and now he's senior, and he's kicking for you, I believe. So, so we'll be sharing him too. So, but yeah, he ran really well here. I think he was top 15. So
that's awesome.
Seeing some good things out of those guys, and those younger guys are coming along. It's just a process. It takes some time. So.
Athletically now, because you're also the athletic director, of course, is there any cool things you want to shout out before we have you off here?
Well, we've got some home games this week. We've got softball playing Santa Fe South for a district match on Thursday. We've got Tuesday volleyball's at home. They have pink out, and they're hosting a quad here. So a lot of things going on. Friday night, obviously. Opening up against Woodward. So a lot of home games this week, a lot of Tiger Pride going on, so we're excited. We hope a lot of people go out to the game and support our athletes.
A fun fact before Coach Brown's off here, Coach Brown also played college basketball over at Panhandle State. Coach, do you still go out to the court every once in a while and give Haley some buckets?
The crossover isn't what it used to be. City League kind of did me in there, had a few ankle injuries that just couldn't get bounced back from, so I had to hang it up. But it was a great time. I didn't play that much when I was on the team, I'll admit that. I was more of a camera guy, video guy, but I did get in a few games, had a few turnovers probably. But no, it was a great experience. I learned a lot from Coach Terry. He's no longer with us. He passed away, but he was a great coach, I thought, did a great job, and learned a lot of valuable things, especially going into coaching, being around different coaches and how they talk and treat their athletes and stuff like that. So it was a great experience.
Yeah, you had mentioned earlier too when you first got to Guymon, and it was kind of like the same thing for me. Is I come in here, all I know about is football. Same thing for you. Your athletic director at the time asked you to coach different things. Can you talk about how your beginning years at Guymon kind of shaped you into the coach and man you are today?
Yeah. So when I first came to Guymon, Dan Turner was the athletic director. He's now at Chickasha High School, and he had asked me what I wanted to coach, and I knew I was going to assist with high school girls basketball, and I knew that was kind of the one coaching spot that I was going to do, but I really didn't know what I was going to do in the fall and the spring, and I wanted to do 3 sports. So they had football open, and I wasn't a football guy, but we did football, and that opened my eyes to a lot of different things there with football because I'd never played it before, so I was trying to coach it. So learned a lot in that first year. And had a great time. Had a real good mentor coach that kind of, and that's one thing I've taken from that is there's more experienced coaches out there that can kind of show you best practices and things like that, because I had no clue that you ran a play to set up another play and misdirection and how all that plays into play calling. So I learned a lot about that. I was calling 7th grade offense, and but it was a really fun time. Those kids were really, really fun to work with. And then in the spring, I was assistant baseball when I first started. So did that for, I want to say 2 or 3 years, and then track opened up, and I did junior high football for 1 year. And then I got into cross country, did assistant girls basketball for a long time, coached some freshman teams, and then got into track. And that's kind of where I stayed at for a long time. Now I'm just doing cross country and track. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of things I learned from other coaches, just kind of keeping an open mind and not trying to always do the same thing. If something isn't working, not being afraid to try something different, and always trying to be positive. I think positivity goes a long ways with your athletes and get them to work hard, and developing those relationships with kids and understanding where they're coming from, and including them in some of the decision-making process with some little things within the program where you can get some more buy-in and commitment and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was worked my way up.
Well, we appreciate you coming on the show today, Coach. Is there anything else you want to talk about before you head off?
No, just love to see everybody out at the game. If you haven't got your athletic passes yet, you can still buy those online on GoFan, or you can go see Bev Frank at the administration office, and she can get you a card pass. But we've also got reserved football seats at the stadium for $25 a seat, and the season passes are $30 for students and $60 for adults, and that gets you into any Guymon home game, junior high or high school. So if you got a big family and you're always going to games and for 3 seasons, get those passes, save some money. So would love to see you at the game.
$500 will let you call play. Appreciate you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.